A very special guest has just joined us in the studio. Delighted to say, and this is all to do with the links that the princes have with charities at home and abroad. Prince Z-o-o from Lesotho, it's very good to have you with us. Good morning to you.
Thank you very much for having me, Hugh.
Thanks for coming in, because I know that you've got a big day ahead. How does it feel?
I'm a bit nervous, but I think I'm less nervous than the bride and the groom today. But it's an exciting day for us all, and a very happy day for us.
Now, for people who are not familiar with the way these things work, just tell us a little bit about your links with William and with Harry.
Well, my link with the two brothers, with the two boys, is more with Harry. Harry first came to Lesotho about 7, 8 years ago now. And after that first visit, we started a charity called Sintabale. And it's only last year that we managed to persuade William to visit Lesotho, and he absolutely loved it.
Well, I'm going to stop you there because I've got lovely images of that, which I'd like to show us straight away. That is William, who came out to back the scheme and to show his support for it. Here we have it, look. And it was lovely, glorious weather, of course, but much more important was what William had to say, really, after he visited them.
I definitely felt very moved in there, seeing the kids, and just seeing them smile makes you feel really, sort of happy, and how difficult a life they have here. So the fact they smile so regularly as well, and to complete strangers, shows you how fantastic they are as people. And I'll definitely come back in the future.
There's a promise, he'll definitely be back. What did that visit mean to you?
Well, we'll definitely hold him to that promise.
Yes.
And that visit was a very important visit, because I think it was one of the first official visits for the two brothers to be together. Normally Harry comes alone, and William does his own thing in Botswana mainly. But I think it was the first time that he has actually expressed that, I want to see what you've been doing in Lesotho.
Of course.
And I think from that experience, and a few occasions that we've chatted, I mean, he seems to be genuinely backing his brother, that he's the younger brother who started a charity from zero. So I mean, Harry has full backing from William. And whatever William is doing in Botswana and other parts of the world, we are also very supportive for the initiatives that he seems to be very keen to pursue. You
mentioned the name, Sintabale, which means what?
Forget me not.
Forget me not. And what does it aim to do?
Well, it aims to, we're looking at the vulnerable and orphan children of Lesotho. And that is a very large category of children, but we appreciate that we can't cover the whole spectrum. There's some very specific categories within the disabled, for example. And we have in Lesotho a very peculiar set of youngsters called herd boys that we are particularly keen to get into education, get into proper health, and give them a future for a brighter future for Lesotho.
Just as you're talking, Princess, so I'm just wanting to tell viewers that that is the Rolls Royce that is going to pick up the bride. So it's on its way to the Goring Hotel. It's just passing the palace now. There it is, a high-top vehicle, so we should get a pretty good view of that dress, the all-important dress, when Kate Middleton's on her way to the Abbey. So the car's on its way, and that'll be ready to leave at about 10 to 11, so it's in very good time. Just a last word with you, Princess, if I may, just to ask you really, in terms of the global impact of this event, and the fact that they've nominated so many charities as part of this, I suppose, collection of gifts, really, what could it achieve?
Well, I think for us, I mean, coming from the African continent or from Southern Africa, is an amazing feat for the young prince and princess, that we have been invited. That's one very important thing. But the fact that they have been involved, the two brothers have been so involved in Africa, for us is something we feel very personal about. And the fact that they continue to show interest on the continent on a number of fronts is very encouraging. But obviously, I mean, that does not come out of the blue. I mean, we have a history. The first time I met Harry, I said, I've never met Princess Diana before, but I could see from what I had read and seen on TV during her lifetime that this is Diana's boy. And so it continues really to come out of them, to show that they can be as much as is allowed, they can be normal people. And I think the whole world, and especially in Africa, and the kids in Africa, love them for that.
It's a very nice message for you to leave us with, Princess. So it's good to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
Please enjoy the day.
Well, I'll certainly do.
We'll be spotting you later on.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just one of the many distinguished guests who are here today, and they come from all walks of life, and in some cases former teachers of the royal couple and colleagues in the armed forces. Anyway, Fiona is talking to one of them again at the Abbey.
Yes, I am with Mr. Edward Gould. Now, you were headmaster of Marlborough College when Kate was there as a student. I have to ask you, what was she like?
Catherine was a wonderful student. She was outstanding on the academic side. She was on the AB. She was a very competent, if not better than that, musician. Broad range of games across the piece and a wide range of interests.
And popular girl?
Yeah, she was a popular girl, but she was actually understated, feet very much on the ground, never made a lot of noise about her achievements, which were very considerable amongst the pupil population.
And were you close to her as headmaster?
Well, she became a prefect, which meant I got to know her better than some, because a school prefect, that would be a more common jargon. Yes, one did get to know her, and of course one got to know her sister and brother. And the great thing about her education really was the very strong support by the whole family, by the parents and the brother and sister. And they all have a very strong support family network, which I'm sure will stand her in good stead as her life moves forward from today.
Was she ever naughty?
If she was, she obeyed the 11th commandment, was never found out.
Very wise. And you've obviously kept in close touch with her. You're invited here to the wedding today, or was the invitation a surprise?
The invitation was a surprise. It's always an honour to come to anyone's wedding like that when you've been a headmaster. Some people like you, some people think they'll like to move on in life.
And what did you think when the invitation plopped onto the doorstep?
Oh, I was delighted.
Well, I hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy very much. Thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very kindly head teacher there with some nice memories of Kate at school. I can tell you that the car we were watching a little while ago, that's the Rolls-Royce, has already arrived at the Goring Hotel, safely parked up outside and ready to bring the bride and her father, of course, to the Abbey at around 10 to 11. So that's in place. This is a very big, intricate jigsaw today. Lots of pieces to slot into the right places, but that is a very important piece of the jigsaw, and that's now in place. All eyes on that, of course, because we'll be wanting the first glimpse of the dress itself. Which brings me to the all-important story, is fashion. We all want to get a first proper look at the dress. I suppose the first proper look will not be at the Goring Hotel. It'll be when the car arrives at Westminster Abbey at 11 o'clock and Kate will emerge then. But there are 1,900 people in that Abbey today who've spent weeks thinking about their choice of clothes for today. Sophie is at Westminster Abbey with one of our leading fashion experts to give us the best possible guide to the styles and the colours of the day. Sophie.
Yes, how do you go about dressing for a royal wedding? There is plenty of pressure, even if you're not the bride. Well, Paula Reid is the style director at Grazia magazine. I've got to say, I think the hair salons in London must have been open all night. We saw guests coming in here at 7 o'clock in the morning, hats, hair, everything done.
Either that or they've sat up all night, or they've got those little concrete Japanese pillows that keep your neck off the pillow.
But what about deciding how to dress for an event like this?
Oh, Sophie, it's a once-in-a-lifetime occasion, isn't it? I mean, it's such a challenge. I think you go out and you expend all your resources and you buy something that is absolutely eye-smackingly gorgeous.
And lots of colour. We can see today the wonderful images already from inside the Abbey. Beautiful hats, beautiful colours.
It's funny, isn't it? Because people think that British women are quite scared of colour, but it looks so spectacular. I think all of those colours together, the bright fuchsias and the royal blues and the purples, people look spectacular as well.
And the Abbey itself, with these wonderful trees, is very romantic. It's a lovely feel as well, and the clothes sort of mix into that, don't they?
Do you know what? I was wondering how those trees would work, because I thought it might actually contain the grandeur of it and take away from that a little, but I think actually it just looks really pretty.
And what about the men? Pressure on them as well?
Well, you know what? They have much fewer options than us girls, and they don't have to worry about colours. There have been some very odd trouser choices, I have to say. Tartan trews I've seen.
And some very bright waistcoats as well. And of course, huge secrecy about Kate's dress. We will not know until 11 o'clock on the dot. It will not be confirmed who has designed it. They've done amazingly well, haven't they, to keep that secret?
Sophie, I can barely contain myself because I've been rattling around in a vacuum of information for weeks. We all have. There's been fantastic speculation. We are hoping for a big fashion story. My money is on McQueen.
Really?
But then yes, but there are still some very strong runners and riders out there. Sophie Cranston, Lee Belula is still a possibility.
But the whole secrecy that has shrouded it, they have done amazingly well, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's almost unheard of that you get to a wedding day on a big event like this and nobody knows.
Give that girl a job at MI6, or maybe David Cameron could use her in the cabinet to plug a few leaks. It's been amazing what they've managed to do, actually. I think good for her.
Well, I think it's lovely looking in the Abbey, looking at all the guests who are arriving. It's a bit like something out of My Fair Lady, isn't it? A sort of film set at the moment.
It's very Cecil Beaton. I think they've done us proud. There are some magnificent hats there. And you know what? Fascinators are in a minimum.
But you don't like fascinators very much.
I'm afraid I'm waging a one-woman war against them. I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
We're all right, though. Lots of lovely hats for you today. Paula, thank you very much for now. Back to you, Hugh.
Sophie will be back, and we'll be having a look at some of the most spectacular fashion statements of the day. Am I allowed to say one of my favourite parts of the day, the military bands? And there are 6 of them, I think, at least 6 of them anyway, who are going to be entertaining the crowds today at various points along the route. And the drum major leading one of the bands just around near the palace, actually, and along up to the Mall. And I think the interesting thing about the bands today is they will be playing to entertain the crowds before the service, and after the service